Okay, so good afternoon, boys and girls. Today we're going to be doing a little activity, but I want to introduce you to my partners. So this is Miss Kayla, and she's going to do the next part with you because we're going to take turns. So I'm going to do the first part, Miss Kayla's going to do the second part, and Miss Patel will do the last part, okay? So before we get started, we have to go through some expectations, okay? So do you remember what that means? Expectations? Who wants to tell me?
What you expect from us?
Okay, someone else?
A little bit like rules.
Kind of like rules that you should follow. Thank you, really good. So the first one is that we really want you to explain your ideas, explain your thinking. If you get an answer, I want you to be very descriptive, use a lot of detail. Okay? Why do you think I'd ask you to do this? Melissa?
Because it would be easier for you to understand what we mean and like the way that we see our ideas.
Very, very good. Okay, next expectation is that I'm going to want you to listen really, really carefully to us and to your peers, and we're going to ask them to listen to you too. So listening is really important because we might ask you to repeat what someone else just said in your own words. Why might that be important? Someone else, Sonali.
To see if we listen.
To see if we listened. Okay, someone else, Jasmine.
To see if you understand what they say.
Good, and one more. Emily, why not I ask you to listen and then repeat what someone else just said?
So that like you understand it.
Good. You want to add?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you could, so that you could learn like how to explain it in like your own way.
That too. So you guys are all right. And plus, if someone missed it the first time, chances are they'll get it the second time, right? Okay, the next thing I want you to do is I'm going to encourage you to ask questions. It's okay if you're confused or if you don't understand something, you can ask us questions. And if we are confused, we will ask you questions. Why is it important to ask questions? Obviously. Rihanna.
Like, so you will be able to understand.
Good. Yuri?
So like now like you know what if like if you do something like this, you're supposed to add something else or something like sort of like you know
Does someone want to help him clear up what he's thinking? Do you know what he's trying to say? Melissa?
He's trying to say like he wants like if you ask questions, you'll understand the steps that you're trying to explain to us.
Okay, good. Is that what you're trying to say, Yuri?
Yeah.
To help you kind of clear up what you were trying to do? Okay, good. Next thing, it's our last expectation, is that we're going to ask you sometimes to work in groups or maybe by yourself, and you might be chit-chatting. And I'm going to do this. What do you think I'm going to want you to do when I do that little clapping sound? Nika?
Like listen and not just stop what you're doing.
What do you do before you listen and stop what you're doing? Sonali?
You like clap.
Good, you're going to clap back. Okay, so let's practice all 4 of those expectations. First thing I'm going to ask is I want someone to tell me how they brush their teeth in the morning. Has nothing to do with math, don't worry. Yuri, how do you brush your teeth in the morning?
you have to brush about 20 seconds on each tooth and like get all around the tooth.
Okay.
So that you don't miss out black.
Okay, so remember expectations, be really, really detailed. Is there anything else that you need to do to brush your teeth? Who wants to add on to what Yuri said? Hold on. Emily.
I take my toothbrush from the cupboard and then I take the toothpaste and then I put on the toothpaste and I wet my toothbrush and then I stick it in my mouth and then brush my teeth.
Very good. So that's what I want, okay? I want you to be really detailed when you explain something, so now everyone is clear about how Emily and Yuri brush their teeth. Now, who can repeat what those two just said? So you have to tell me everything that they said. You should have been listening really, really, really carefully. Nika.
For Yuri, Yuri said he takes his toothbrush, like the start of it, put toothpaste on, but he said that he brushes his teeth like 20 seconds around like his tooth, like really all over it.
Very good. And what did Emily say?
Emily said, first of all, I take my toothbrush from the cupboard, I put my toothpaste on it, and then I wet it, and then I brush my teeth.
Very good. So you see why it's important to listen? Because I may ask you to repeat what someone else just said. Okay, and our last expectation, I'm going to ask you to chit-chat with your neighbor. You could be kind of loud to talk. Okay, let's try that again. Chit-chat again. You have to wait till I Okay, I think you get it. You're quiet. All right.
No, it's because when we go and they end it for you, they don't echo. That's what they do here.
All right. Okay. So there's a different way of doing it. Okay. So like I said before, you guys are really good at listening, by the way, and I hope that you remember those expectations. So today we're going to be doing a math problem that has to do with measurement. Okay. So I'm going to write it on the board. Okay, and I know you've done measurement before because you've kind of done it with me, and I'm sure you've done it with Miss Lily. So who can tell me what measurement is, or give me an example of measurement, or tell me what tools you may use? Jasmine.
Okay, like when you have a straight line and you want to measure it, you have to take a ruler, and then it says how many centimeters and how many meters and how many inches.
Okay, so I heard a lot of good things there. I heard, so for tools, I heard ruler, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then you said that we can measure a line? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. And then I heard some units in there. I heard centimeters, some of them are units. I heard centimeters, and what else did you say?
Meters.
Meters. Very good. Who can tell me something else about measurement? Yannick.
It's to help you be precise on the centimeters that you use, because if you go maybe a bit too long on something in your house and it's new, it might not fit in the spot that you want to be in.
Okay, so who can help me repeat what Yannick just said so that I really understand what he just said? Melissa.
He means like you would measure something to make sure that it would fit in a space. Like you would measure a space that you want to put something in, so you would measure it, and then you would measure the object that you want to put in there. So if it's too big, you know how much the space is. So
Okay, so I hear that we measure things to see how
long it is.
So, okay, good. So it can measure how long something is? What's another word for long when we talk about long, like on a rectangle or triangle? Nika?
Length.
Length. Very good. So it can measure the length of, you said like a fridge, I think you said fridge.
I said stove.
A stove, okay. So it measures the length. What other things can we measure? Length and Sonali?
The width.
The width, okay, so if I do, I'm running out of space, maybe put you up here. So we can measure the length this way, or the width. What else can we measure? I'm doing it later too. Emily?
You could use a protractor.
Oh, that's good. A protractor is another tool. Are you working on protractors right now? Okay, so I'm going to do a protractor. And what does the protractor measure?
Like, let's say like there's like an angle, a right angle, and then like there's like this box, and then you just click the square and it measures like
So you're learning how to measure angles already in grade 5?
Yeah.
Ready to check.
I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. Okay, one more thing about measurement. We have the main things. One more thing. Melissa.
More units would be millimeters.
Mm-hmm.
There would be kilometers, decimeters. Yeah.
And so on.
There's like,
Okay, so yes.
there's like the king Henry died, and
Mother didn't care much.
Right, good. That's to help us remember the units. Okay, so I think we can gather that we can use a ruler to measure the length or the distance or the height. We didn't say height. Does that one count too? The height. height or the width of something. Very good. So, where's my ruler? Today, we'll be working with a ruler. So this should be pretty easy because you know how to use a ruler, right? Okay, good. So, here's the ruler that we're going to be working. What can you tell me about that ruler? Sonali?
It has inches.
It has inches? Probably. It doesn't really specify, so that's a good guess. Yuri?
Has centimeters.
Okay. Jasmine?
It's
It's ripped? What do you mean?
like the numbers, it starts by 3 and then it goes on to 4 and then it's 5. And so it doesn't say 1, 2, so you can't measure something if like it has only 2 inches.
Okay. Who can repeat what Jasmine said? It was really important. Brianna,
That like
what's wrong with a ruler? What's special about a ruler?
there's not like if there's no 1 or 2 and it just continues to 3, 4, 5 and you can't measure it too well. Just
Good. Who can point out where it's ripped or where it's broken? Who can come up and point it out for me? Yannick, can show us. You can point, right? Jasmine said it's broken.
here
Mm-hmm.
and here.
Very good. So, we're done. Oh, but what? Would we be able to use this ruler? You'll find out in the next step, because Miss Kayla is going to come and take you through a question. Okay, so you guys did really well, and I just want to make sure that you remember to ask questions, to explain what you're thinking, and to listen up, okay? So, take it away, Miss Kayla.
Alrighty. So there's 2 parts to this question. So firstly, Tom wants to measure the lengths of 2 lines. So part A has 1 line that's a certain length, and part B has another line. But his ruler fell on the floor and it broke. So this is his ruler now. So I'm going to hand you part A, and I want you to show all your work. Okay? Can you use this ruler to measure the short line below? I'm going to show you the line. This is his line. Do you have tape or anything? Anyways, this is his line. So you're going to answer A or B, yes or no, and you have to explain why. Okay, are there any questions? Yes,
Are
Emily.
we doing it before pregnant?
Not quite yet. I'll give you partner time though, but for now just do it on your own and then we'll give you partner time. Okay? Any more questions? Yes, Nika.
Can I get my pencil?
Of course, you can all get your supplies. Yes.
What do you do when you're finished?
When you're finished, oh, that's a very good question. You're going to put up your silent thumb. This is your silent thumb. So when you're finished all your work, just put it up. Why do you think I'm asking you to put up a silent thumb? And why don't I let you talk to your partner or raise your hand and wave it all around? So now, yeah?
Then it's gonna get like too noisy and
Very good point. Anyone else? What else? Emily?
because like if like then like you'll just see like we're not doing anything and all that we're not doing anything, but if you see like a thumbs up that is like open.
Good point. Excellent, Emily. Melissa?
Because you could distract the others who haven't like finished their
Excellent point. You might get stressed out that everyone else is finishing, but you're not, so silent thumb, that just tells me that you're finished and you're ready to respond. Okay? All good? Excellent. So we're going to give you about, should we say?
10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay? Yes.
Do we put our name on it?
You know what? Yes, put your name on it. That'd be very helpful. So the 3 of us are just going to walk around and we might ask you some questions just to clear things up.
we give you the wrong one? This is the wrong one. You need part B.
Can we just make sure that everyone has, on the top of your title, measurement task A, part A? If you have B, just raise your hand, please. Write it down.
Remember in that section where it says explain, to be really detailed about why you chose that answer.
Draw on the picture if you want. Or make a table, anything. Anything goes. Okay, so you have 1 more minute. See, some of you are finished. Yep. Excellent, very good. That's some really great work, everyone. So now, I'd like someone to share with us. Let's see if I have your names down properly. I want to start with Sonali.
Yeah.
Could you share your solution with us?
So I said no, he can't use the ruler to measure the short line. Because if you use a broken ruler, you won't get the right measurement. So you can't use a broken ruler to measure any sort of line, shape, or distance.
So Sonali, what do you mean by it's broken?
Because the ruler, it's like when usually rulers are supposed to start from 1, 2, and then go to 3.
Okay.
But this ruler starts from 3, and then it goes on up to 4 and 5.
So this ruler starts at 3. So I'm going to add that here. What was something you said before? What you said a ruler usually starts at, what did Sonali say? Yes.
She said a ruler starts at number 1 and goes on to 2, and then it goes on to 3. It doesn't start at 3.
Okay, so a ruler doesn't usually start at 3, and she says it starts at 1. Melissa?
But it doesn't start at 1, it starts at 0 because you always have to put 0 at the beginning. You have to align the 0 line with the beginning of the short or the line that you're measuring. Because if you start at 1, then your measurement is going to be whatever, like it's going to be bigger by 1.
Good point. So Sonali, you're saying the line, a ruler starts at 1 or 0?
I'm pretty sure it starts at 0.
to 0, now you correct yourself. Okay, and so this line does not fit in that ruler. Is that it? Okay, good. Let's move on to the next solution. I have here Rihanna. Did I pronounce her name properly? Perfect. So, what did you say?
I said you can't use the ruler. I don't think he can measure the line because his ruler is broken and he can start measuring the line at the third centimeter.
I'm sorry, I wasn't quite hearing either. You said it was broken because? You cannot start measuring at the third, okay. So what is Rihanna saying? What is she saying, Jasmine?
That usually a ruler starts at 0 and you can't measure properly a line if it starts at 3.
Okay, so this ruler is broken, you cannot use it, doesn't start at 0, that's it. Can't use the ruler. So what are some similarities and differences between Sonali's solution and Rihanna's solution? Yes, Yannick.
They both said no.
Pardon me?
They both said no.
They both said no. Good observation. I'm going to put it right here. Give me your similarities and differences. So they both said no. What else? Melissa.
They both said that the ruler started at 3 and usually it starts at 0.
Good observation. So start at 3. But a ruler starts at 0.
You forgot the T at start.
Oh, thank you. Writing too fast. Oh, good. Anything else? Mika?
They both said that it was broken.
They both said it was broken. Excellent. Anything else that I could notice? Okay, good. So let's start on to solution number 3. I think we had the same. Let's see, Emily. Can you share with us?
Yes, you can use the ruler to measure the short line because the ruler is big enough for the line. And also because you could just think that the 3 is a 1 and that the 4 is a 2 and the 5 is a 3.
Ooh, I like what you said there, Emily. Do you think you could come and show us? Just so I get an idea of what you're thinking. You can come up. I'll give you blue chalk. You can write on the ruler if you want to. Don't worry about it.
So like this, you could think that it's a 1, this a 2, and this is a 3.
Okay, good. Thank you. So what is Emily saying? What did she do there? Yaros? Oh, Yuri, sorry.
You can act like, instead of it being 3, 4, and 5, you can act like it's 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. Very convincing. Is that what he meant though? Did he explain properly? Good. Melissa?
But she started at 1 like Sonali did. It's supposed to start with a 0.
Oh. Remember, what did we say before?
It has to start with a 0. But I kind of did the same thing as Emily, except instead of the 3 being a 1, I did 3 being a 0, 4 being a 1, and the 5 being a 2.
So what should we do?
We should change the 1 to a 0, and the 4 to a 1.
Do you want to change it, Emily? Go for it. So Emily at first said we changed the 3 to a 1, the 4 to a 2, and the 5 to a 3. But now she's changing her thinking. She's changing the 3 to a 0. Why is she changing it to a 0? Jasmine.
Because the ruler usually
Nika?
Because when you're measuring something, you want to start by a 0 so you're not like 1 centimeter off or anything.
Ah, good point. Do you mind showing us with the line I have up here? This was Tom's line that he needed to measure. How can we measure this using the ruler?
Like,
Build off what you were just saying before.
so when you start by a 0, when you're measuring, let's say this, you want to put it directly at the 0. So,
Why put it directly at the 0?
well, like on the 0, so it's like, so when if it's going to start at 1, you're going to be like 1 centimeter off. So it's like,
So put the line where you had it at the 0. Like you said, starting at the 0. So what is the measurement of that line?
it's about 1 centimeter.
Who agrees, who disagrees? Emily?
It's kind of gooey.
You?
Kind of like 1.1.
We'll say it's 1, just because I'm a bad cutter of paper. Jasmine?
I disagree because a centimeter is smaller than mine, so it would be 1 inch.
Just the idea of these rulers, we just blew them up. Just imagine it blown up. This is a blown up ruler. It doesn't even have to be centimeters if you don't want it to. So do you agree that this is 1?
Yes.
What if, you can sit back down if you want. What if I moved it there? Melissa?
It would still be a 1 because for example, like if it doesn't start at 0, then it can't be that. So you would have to put it back because it doesn't go from 0 all the way to 2. It goes from 1 to 2. So that's still 1.
So we said when we had the line here, moving from 0 to 1, how much did we say that was?
1.
1. Good. Now I'm putting the line here. I'm only going from 1 to 2. How much is that?
1.
Is it still 1?
Yes.
So what's the measurement of this line? Melissa?
1 something.
What do we call those? Something said before, we were talking about it. Yes.
1 inch. 1 unit of measure.
1 unit of measurement. Excellent use of vocabulary. So now I want to look at the similarities and differences between all of our solutions. Melissa?
A difference is the 2 first solutions were no and the third one was a yes.
Okay. So we had 2 no's and 1 yes. What's the difference between what Sonali said and what Emily said? Sonali said it's broken, so we cannot use it to measure get a proper measurement. And we said the start was 0. Yes. Nika.
Well, like Sonali and Emily have a difference because Sonali was saying it's like broken, it's like you can't measure it right, but Emily says it's big enough to still measure it, so it's still good to use.
Good versus use. Good. Anything else, Sonali?
I found a similarity
What's the similarity?
that both of us said that it starts from 0,
What starts from 0?
the ruler,
Ruler. Which ruler?
like any ruler.
A ruler. Good. So a ruler.
You wrote it in the differences.
Oh, look at that.
And you already wrote it there. Ruler 0.
She's just checking you out.
Thank you. Keeping me on my toes, you are. Anything else? Melissa.
And like all of the solutions, all like tell that it's broken and that it's like and that it starts by 3. So yeah.
What is Melissa trying to get at? Anybody have an idea, Nika?
Well, I think she's trying to say that they kind of say it starts, like the ruler starts at 3, but it really starts at 0.
The nose said that it was 3, so it could be usable.
Mm-hmm.
But the yes said that it was 3, but you could just change it to 0, and you could use it. So.
Good point. Excellent point, Melissa. Emily, do you want to add on to that?
Well, I think I know what she means. They thought that it cannot start at 3, but I think that it starts at 3.
You could change it.
Yeah.
You're able to change it.
Oh, so you can change it. So now, you were saying that it's broken, and but a ruler starts at 0, but we can't use it. Are you still thinking the same way?
Not so much.
What changed about your thinking?
Now I realize that you could use the ruler again because you could just change the numbers up, so you could use.
Ah, I like what you're saying, Sonali. So what if I had that ruler?
Well,
Can I use it?
yes.
Why? Emily?
You could change the 19 to 0, the 20 to 1, and then the 21 to 2, but it's just going to be the same thing.
So what would be the measurement of this line?
One unit.
1. Because moving from 19 to 20, how much is that?
1.
Excellent. Very good. Now, so we're finished with part A. Are there any questions? Yes,
I
Nika.
have a question, but in my thing I said that also if you want your measurement to be really exact, you could also make a new part for the ruler,
You could add,
Nika, can you come show us? I think that's a really good idea you have there.
if you want to add on to this one, you can just make it longer, and 2 here and 1 yeah, you do 0.
Oh, so you're just adding the broken part.
Yeah.
So what is Nika's? Yes, Yannick.
I think she's pretty much saying that you could just add the another piece, but how do you know if it's exact on the precise measure?
Right, it's on.
Because there's also little lines on the real ruler. It's just you could count how much lines and measure it, see how much it has.
Does everyone see that?
Yeah.
There's little lines on the ruler.
You count how much.
So would that help us continue the ruler?
Yes.
Yes, very good. Any more questions? Good, okay, so we'll move on to part B.
Okay, now, we're gonna keep in mind what Miss Vanessa, Miss Charles, and Miss Kayla has reviewed with you guys. So, we're gonna remember that we have to explain our thinking, right? I want you to explain it in great detail. You guys did a phenomenal job, I can see already. And make sure you're listening to each other. And when I want your attention, I want you guys to echo back, okay? I'm just gonna ask Miss Charles to double check the camera, please. And as we're gonna do this, I'm gonna let you guys take out your food so you can have your lunch because we're running out a little bit out of time. So you can grab your lunch boxes right now before I hand out the other paper. It's okay, go ahead.
Jazz, and this is yours. Melissa's. Okay, so pick up the paper.
You wanna collect these?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick? You gave it up, everyone? Okay.
Yeah.
did before, can we all make sure that we have task B on our desk, please? Is that okay? No problem. Can we make sure we have task B on our desk, please? Can I get a copy of task B? Great. So now, we're going to wonder if, can Tom use the ruler to measure the long line below? Please choose either answer A or answer B. The line that they're asking you to measure, to see if we can measure, is this longer line there, the thick bolded one, okay? I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. You're just going to follow the same instructions with the task A. You're going to say yes or no, and then you're going to write in great detail why. Is that okay? Are there any questions? Good. I'll give you a little bit longer so you can chew your food. Make sure all of your lunch is going to be completely finished. Can we give you a couple more minutes? We're starting to run out of time. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to talk to your partners. So if you want to ask a question, if you're not sure about something, if you want to discuss with them, you can talk to your partner, see what's going on, discuss a little bit more. Not just about your answers, the why. Right? We're going to look for the why. We're getting there. It's good. Great. Now, I know this one was a little bit different. I'm going to ask you all for your opinions. Just make sure it's really detailed, and don't worry about whether it's right or wrong. We're all doing this together, right?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. For this question, the line was longer. Was it longer than the ruler? Yes. Okay. So can someone who said no, can you raise your hand? We have some unsures, we have some double answers. Okay. So Natalie, why did you say no? You're chewing, I'm sorry. You said no.
I said you can't use the ruler because the line is much bigger and his ruler is much too short to like change the numbers.
The line is too long. Thank you for sharing. Are we clear about Natalie's answer? Okay. Now, did someone say yes? Yuri,
I said yes and no because
we have a yes and no. Okay. Can I hear your yes?
yes, you can't use the ruler to measure by turning the numbers to 0, 1, and 2. Then you can add on to by moving the ruler to measure the broken part of the ruler.
So you're saying we can change the numbers? I'm not quite sure what you mean by add-on. Can someone repeat what Yuri just said? Melissa.
He means like you could, if this was broken, you could like take it and then when you measure it, like you put your finger at where you end it, and then you can move the ruler aside, so like you could like continue measuring.
Thank you. Yuri, was that what you're thinking of?
Yes.
Okay, can you just quickly come and show me what you meant by that? This way we get an understanding of exactly what Yuri was thinking.
So like you can
Okay, I'll move the line here. That way. I know it's a little hard to see what you're moving it, placing his finger to mark his spot. Great, can you just talk to us a little bit about what's going on here? Where did you get the 0, 1, 2, and 3?
I changed this to 0, 1, 2, and so then this becomes 3, 4, and 5.
Good. So you thought of it in this way. You took the ruler here. You imagined this was 0, 1, 2, and 3. And then you changed the units here for 3, 4, and 5. Is that a little bit about how you did it? Okay. So you're saying we can measure this line because we would just add on to the ruler. We can take this ruler here. It's fine. Like this. And you moved it. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Do we see any?
Finish it later. We can't finish now, we have to go for their jobs.
Okay, we're gonna put this in pause. I don't want you to forget anything. We're gonna come right back to this. Is that okay? Thank you, guys.
Okay,
Go.
So right before you guys left, we were in the middle of our math problem, and I'm just gonna read it over to make sure that we remember what the question was. I don't have paper. So, can he use, and we were talking about Tom, can Tom use the ruler to measure the long line below? Please choose either answer A or B. Now, the line we were talking about is that bolded line that you see there, and we're seeing if we can measure it with the broken rulers. Some of you have already started writing responses, and so Nally and Yuri gave us their solutions. So Nally said no, the line is too long. Yuri said yes, change the numbers and add on. And Yuri was in the middle of showing us what was going on, so I'm going to ask Yuri to come back up to just kind of explain what's going on. And you know what? If you can just show the class what you're doing, it'll be helpful. And if you want to take this off, you can. Just show your, yeah, exactly.
So, last time I did 0, 1, and 2 as the first one, and then I added on like this.
Do we see what he's kind of doing?
Yeah, he's like adding the numbers that got cut off.
So can someone, in their own words, kind of tell me what's going on? What is Yuri exactly doing? Melissa, you started. Can you tell us what he's doing up there?
He like with the using the ruler, the broken ruler, he like added on, like he added the 0, the 1, and the 2, and like
So what is he adding on? What do you mean by he's adding on?
He's adding the numbers that got broke off, that came off, by using the ruler and like counting the.
So he's using the numbers. He's adding on the numbers from the broken ruler. So he's using the broken ruler
to like make sure that he's doing it the same length as the numbers on the ruler, so that like on the ruler it's not like this, and then on the ones he added on it's like not small.
That's a really interesting point. So he's making sure the spaces in between the numbers are equal, right? Because we know that equal spaces have to be there on the ruler to make it work. So Yuri kind of said, does anyone, actually I'm going to ask somebody to come up and kind of explain what Yuri did. I want you to come show us.
You want to try this one?
What he's trying to do is like he used the 3, 4, and 5, but he used them kind of like he changed their numbers.
He
So-
changed numbers. So if I said, let's pretend, let me just take this from here. This is our line.
So he kind of like he used this, but he changed the numbers. So this was 0. So but
Interesting. He changed the numbers. Can we just change the numbers? I see some yes, some no. What do we think? Continue to explain.
So here's like 0. 0 he put here, and then for the 4 he put the 1 and the 2, and then he kind of like held his finger.
He held his finger there. So you're remembering what spot you were at.
So for the
Okay.
next one, then he used the 3, 4, 5, but he used them like here. For the 4 it's going to be a 3.
To me, it's pretty good.
And 5 is going to be a 4. And this is 5 here, but he put all the lines,
Okay.
the millimeters. And
Thank you for sharing. So, Yuri, is that kind of the same idea that you had?
yes.
Good. So I'm going to try to explain this just so I can see some people are still a little confused. So we have a long line here. What Yuri and Nika said, that they took this ruler, they thought about the 3 and 5 and they pretended it was a 0. Because the distance between, the space between this is the same. So kind of like what you did in task A, where you took this part right here and you just moved it over. That's how they're thinking about it. So they pretended this was a 0. They pretended this was a 1, and this was a 2. And then what special thing did you both do here? What was similar what they both did? Yannick.
They held their finger there so they could remember their spot.
And now why is that important to hold your finger there to remember your spot? Why is that important? Melissa.
Because if you don't, you're going to lose your spot and you're going to put it somewhere else and then it's not going to be like the right spot.
Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. Can someone help Melissa out? Emily.
Cause like if you don't put it, then you'll just put it at this different spot, and then you won't put the right date, and the measurement is not gonna be the same.
Yeah, so I think I hear what you're saying. And the distance maybe we're saying in between, we need to keep them the same. So if I don't mark my spot and I move over here, can we have that space in between here? No, so they have to be right after each other and they're going to be the same distance. Good. So in between, we have 2 solutions here to your answers on the desk, right? I'm going to give you guys just a couple of minutes to look at your responses. Maybe talk to the person next to you. We talked about these solutions. See which one now, if your thinking has changed. If you have a different opinion, maybe your explanation might change. Take a couple minutes with with their partner and just kind of go over the steps again. Is that okay? If there are any questions, you can ask me a question as well. Okay, take a couple of minutes.
How compares?
You know what? Yes. Okay. And you actually make this into a real ruler. Interesting. I'm not going to tell you what's going on right now quite yet. Keep talking. I'll give you a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
Champions, we got that one on the point. Good stuff. Now, does someone want to talk about what their and their partner discussed? Melissa.
Well, we discussed how, like,
Oh, that's interesting that you discussed it with Sonali. Sonali said no, and I remember you said yes. That's interesting. Okay, what was the conversation about?
we were talking about, like, what our opinion was and,
Okay.
like, how, like, now we think of it. And, like, she said that she has, like, a different point of view now that we like, looked at it. So now she...
Sonali, do you want to kind of tell us what's going on? How do you think about it?
Well, like, now I think about it more, like, you could still use the ruler, like, we'll just, like, adding the missing parts on and, like, just, like, doing what you already did, like changing the numbers and, like, adding the rest.
Okay, so do we all see how you use a ruler, and Melissa? Do we have any questions about the way he did it, or the way Melissa explained it? Okay, so we all agree that we can use this ruler to measure it now? You feel pretty good about that one? So if I'm measuring this line with this ruler, right? What is going to be the measure of this line? I know it's already up there. Jasmine. 5 centimeters. But our ruler here says 5 here. Right? But this says 5. That's interesting. This line, we measured it, it says 5. Our ruler says 5 here. Does that change our response? I see some heads shaking no. Mika?
Like, because we used the ruler first to do 0, 1, 2, 3, and then, like, on there it says 5 because, like, it...
Do you want to come show us? Because I see you're doing some hand gestures. So you can come show us. I want to use the ruler as well.
Because, well, we used the ruler to do the 0, 1, 2 because it didn't have it here.
Okay.
And then the 3, 4, 5 was already on it, but because then, like, because it was broken, so it was like you could still like because it was broken, so you could use 0, 1, 2, 2 in front of these numbers.
Okay.
So you still could increase.
Okay, so now my question is, what's the measure of this line? What's the measure of this line? What's the measure? And it doesn't matter what you said before. It can be centimeters, it can be decimeters. The centimeters of the unit name is not important. We're just going to look at the individual units. So what's the measure of this line, Melissa?
5.
5. Do we all kind of agree that it's 5? Yes? Okay. Do we see that if I move from 0 to 1, how many jumps is that?
1, 1,
If I go from 1 to 2, how many jumps is that?
2, 3, 4, 5.
So what's the measurement for our ruler? So if we did this, let's pretend we had 2 of these. Let's pretend we had 2 of these. Okay? They don't really match it completely, but can we start from 3 and still use this ruler?
No. So yes. Yes.
Yes, right? You said yes, no?
Yes.
Yes? We started here with a 3, but we thought of it as a
1,
0. And then like Yuri said, I like the word that you guys used, we added on. And what we did was we marked our spot and we added on. And that's really important because we need to remember that the distance between the numbers have to be what? Equal, right? Otherwise our measurements are not going to be quite the same. Good. I'm going to give you a quick little brain teaser just to make sure you guys got this. If I had a ruler Can we still use this ruler?
Yes.
Yes. Raise your hand, and I want you to raise your hand if you can tell me what the measurement of this line, if I use now this ruler. Now this ruler starts with 21, 22, and 23. Yannick.
It's still 5 centimeters because even if it's broken and the numbers are 21, 22, 23, they're still going from 1 to 2 to 3 to
We're still using the same units. Okay. So what if now I take this off? What if I said, and I'll use a different color chalk. Can we see the yellow?
Yeah.
It's not the straightest line, but we're gonna work with it. And this line continues here. It's a really long line. Can I still use this ruler to measure this really long line?
Yes.
Everyone's saying yes. So now, before you said no, because it was broken. Do you think I can use this ruler, or any of our rulers that are broken, to measure this really long line?
Yes.
Yes? How would we do it? Can you come show me? You can use this ruler, you can use this ruler. How would we measure, oops, sorry, I shocked you. How would we measure this really long line?
Well, you do it here.
Can you show me how that was done? You want to just show, come to the side a little bit so everyone can see what you're doing. Just turn your body. Yeah, that's it. Good girl.
So it would be like 1, 2, wait, start from 0.
Is it important to start from the 0?
Yes.
Good. We're remembering this stuff.
So
0.
1.
Now, why is, I know I'm repeating these questions, but we're going to talk about something. Is it okay that she started at 0, 1, and 2, even though our ruler says 3, 4, and 5?
Yes.
Continue, Sonali.
So then I hold my spot,
She's holding her spot.
and then I go 3,
Oh, you're using this one. Yeah.
that.
Good. Do you want to finish counting so we know the measure of this really long line? While Sonali finishes up, I'm going to just, well, your shoelaces should be tied. While she finishes marking this, I'm going to completely thank you guys for working really hard with these 2 problems. I'm going to highlight a couple of important things that we learned today. One of them, actually I'm going to ask you, one of them was about the 0. What's important about our 0? Melissa?
That when we measure any line, doesn't matter like how big or how small, you always have to start by 0 or else the measurement will be wrong.
Okay, so when we're counting the measurements, we always have to start at 0. In the case of a broken ruler, what can we do if we had a broken ruler?
You would change the numbers so that it could still follow the rule of starting with 0.
Good, so we can just move the 0, pretend it's now here, and we can keep counting on. Because when we count, do we ever start counting at 20 or 25? Where do we start counting from always? 0, 1. Good. I think we could use this. I think you guys did a really good job. Let's see what Sonali came up with. 9. Do we agree with that measurement?
Yes.
Good stuff. I'm gonna thank you guys, boys and girls, for helping Ms. Charles, Ms. Kayla, and myself. You were right. We could measure with a broken ruler. And I want you to know that you participated really, really well. And we thank you so, so much. We hope you have a good afternoon. Thank you guys.
Okay, so before we leave,